everyone, and welcome to the very first of many, the very first episode of the Tristhetics Creatives Connect webinar series. My name is Dalia Akaine. I am super excited, if you cannot tell already, to be here. And I'm super excited to introduce us to our very first guest. This is such a special episode, so we had to get a special guest to join us. And our special guest today is none other than Miss Joyce Chiamaka. She is the founder of Script Jobs, and amazing. And this is such, it fits so much with the theme and the topic of today, because she said something earlier about matchmaking. She basically, what she does is that she's able to match the people that need jobs with the job seekers. And I think in today's community and in today's world, that is such an important role. But I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself, to tell us about the amazing work that she has been doing for years, and we're going to get right onto it. So thank you so much for being here. You're welcome on board, Ms. Chiamaka, and please just tell us a little bit about yourself and the wonderful work you do.
All right, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor, right? Hello, everyone. My name is Joyce Chiamaka Nzeako, right? I'm the founder of Script Jobs and a recruiter. One of the things that I love to do actually is to get people hired. Basically, that's what it is. I connect people with companies. That's it. And one of the problems we have today is the problems with jobs, getting access to the right job, getting access to the right community, getting access to the right workplace environment, actually, because a lot of toxic things are going on in the world of today. So that's one of the things that I'm passionate about, because I know that they say that the job market is saturated in quotes, but to be honest, it's not. The problem is that most people don't really have the skill sets to actually work in that society and in that environment. So I'm breaching that gap, and I'm getting people equipped with skills. All they need to be able to be qualified, employable, basically. That's what it is. And I'm also on the side of brand strategist, where I help companies build themselves and actually get themselves the right finesse. I call it finesse, right? To be fit in the right world, like in the world. This is 21st century, right? If a brand doesn't fix themselves, they have a problem with exposure, with perception, and all of that. So I try to fix that. That's why. So I'm in between, but the job seekers part. And here it's a lot, actually. Over the years, I've actually worked in different industries, and let's say it's an amazing experience altogether. So once again, thank you for having me here. I'm honored.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. It does sound like an exciting experience. And I absolutely love that you're able to kind of touch base with both sides of the coin, because I feel like, this, if you're talking to different people, everyone is complaining or talking about different things. If you're talking to employers, they're saying, oh, no one is employable and we can't find people. And if you're talking to the people themselves, they say no one is hiring. The market is saturated. So I love that you are able to come from a place where you can see both perspectives and really identify, okay, for the job seekers, what are they looking for? What makes you employable? And then for the employees themselves, or the people that want to be employees, are you able to stand out? Are you actually employable before you say, oh, no, there are no jobs? Because I know that's just narrative of today, isn't it? That the market is saturated and there's no jobs anywhere. So I think that's a very good, that's a very good point, that you're able to come from that middle ground. Okay, and just like I said, this is so befitting for the topic that we have today. So for this, our very first episode, we're going to be talking about how to build a strong online presence as a creative. And, just on the general theme that we have for the month, I think this is such an important one, because a lot of people always look at it from the perspective of the market is saturated. There's no opportunities for me out there. There's already 1,000,001 people doing what I'm doing. How can I show up and really build that online presence? How can I show up in this saturated market and just be like, I'll just be a tiny fish in a sea of like whales and whatever. So I'm very excited about this. But before we get into, the questions I have for you, I would just love to know what you think about this, what you think about the topic in general. When you think about building a strong online presence, especially as a creative, do you still feel like it is possible even in today's market?
I'm gonna start by saying that's the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Like, let me repeat that again. That's the best thing you can ever do to yourself. Let me say that's the best gift you can actually give yourself, because the truth is the world is, like I said, the job market, according to a lot of people, is what saturated. And every job, for every job application I put out, I'm seeing 100 plus people, right? That if it's actually maybe the West, you're like you're putting out job ad for maybe the West, then you see few applicants, maybe 20, 30 thereabout, right? But if it's Africa, you're putting out a job ad, you're seeing 200 people, 300 people like flooding the same job, and you're like, what's happening here, right? And the truth is, like, they don't even look at the amount. That's the funny part. What they're looking at is the what? Is the job. Like, they're just seeing jobs, like they're just hunting it. And if you're in that space where many people are out there looking for the same thing that you are looking for, the easiest way to give yourself an advantage is for you to what? Build a personal brand. And that's one of the things I teach my mentees, like every time. I'm always hampering on it, right? You need to build a personal brand, not just for yourself. Like, it's not just for yourself. It's for your, like, the company you're entering into, for that company. What do I mean by that? I have someone currently working for me, like part of my staff. One of the things, she has a personal brand. So what she does, or what I can actually do, is I can tap from her personal brand, the growth of her personal brand. So if she posts for my company or posts for us, I give her a tip. I give her something, right? Because she's like she's known, she's well known, right? So that has given me leverage and has given her leverage. Why? Because she's a brand ambassador without me having to pay what extra, but I still have to pay extra, which is to her personal pocket, right? So that's why you're seeing the rise of mini influencers, right?
Yeah.
So the easiest thing for you to do, the easiest is the easiest thing, basically, as far as I'm concerned, is to give yourself an advantage, which is to build an online presence. That's just it.
That's so good. And that literally just answers our very first question, is why we think it's important, or is it even important to build a personal brand online. I absolutely love that point. And I think that is a different perspective though. Not a lot of employers would be happy at that, or would even want to encourage their employees or someone that works with them for something, to pursue their own personal brand. Do you have, why do you think that is? Why do you feel like somebody might say, no, if you're working for me, you're just working for me, you're not doing anything else?
I find that is, to be honest, right? I think people that have that mindset, or employees that have that mindset, they have a problem. No offense, they have a problem, right? Yes, yeah. This is me being like very, very practical.
Real, 100%. Yes.
What you want to do as a boss, let me call it boss. That's what you are, basically, right? What you want to do as a boss, in Nigeria, I call it Oga. What you want to do as a boss,
at the top,
you want to have your people. Yeah, you want to have people that are good. If you're a good boss, people under you should be what? They should be good. So if you're not 100%. There, they can stand in for you, right? I think one of the things I tell my staffs basically is, you're going to have to represent me, because if I'm not around, let's say they call me out, I have an event in Enugu or something like that, who is going to represent me? You're the one. So you need to learn to talk for yourself. You need to learn to act for yourself. You need to be able to be good. So if Chiamaka Joyce isn't available, you should be what? You should be available. So any boss that has that kind of mindset has a problem. That's one of the things about toxic environment. And that's why Script Jobs is different from every other recruitment agency, because we ask you questions. We're not after just getting you a client, or just, no. We're asking you detailed questions, because the company, you can't be a toxic company. You can't be. We don't really care about your money. What we care is about what? The staff. Yeah, they're important to us. Yes. Usually, HRs, what are you concerned about? Maybe it's money, like some people, money and stuff. But we're concerned about the both sides. You have to be a good company, and you have to be what?
Yeah.
The candidate has to be right. So two of them. So two right people coming together, that's what makes the business grow.
That's a perfect combination. Absolutely. That's a very important point. And I think even by doing so, I feel like in a little way, in whatever way, you're kind of revolutionizing the corporate world as well, because not a lot of people look at it that way. A lot of people are always thinking about, it's the employees. What do you bring to the table? How are you able to help the company? I'm like, okay, you as an employer, what do you know, are you a toxic, what's the culture? I absolutely love it when, I interview people and they ask me, what's the work culture at your organization? I think that's such an important thing to know, because you talked about toxicity in the workplace. A lot of people don't consider that. Before you're looking for good employees, are you a good employer? Are you able to hold down people before, because sometimes you begin to suspect, like, if it's like you're changing employees every 2 business days, what's going on there? Is something wrong? Why are people choosing to leave so quickly? How are you even treating your employees? And I love that, that's something that your organization is able to bring attention to, because I think that is a conversation that employers need to have. Yes, I'm looking for good people. Yes, I'm looking for qualified individuals. But as an organization, what is your work culture? Are you able to create an environment that harbors that productivity, that positivity, really, that actually, equips people to be successful? So I think that is a really important one. And I absolutely love that you're doing that. Okay. So that kind of leads me then into my next question about, tools. And I talked about, equipping your employees, or just equipping people, and, them being able to succeed. For a creative that is thinking about, how can I be equipped to build that personal brand, whether that's coming from them individually or the organization in whatever way, what are some tools? What are some of the platforms? What are your top recommendations in terms of tools and resources for creatives to build up their personal brand online?
Okay, I'm going to answer the question like in two ways, which is the fact that I'm going to take it like in two phases, right? The first phase is about you yourself as a person. What that basically means is you first of all have to understand yourself as a person, right? If I'm into let me use myself. Basically, I'm into career coaching, recruitment services, and all of that. That's what I offer. Those are the services I offer, right? Which platform am I going to be? I know myself. This is what I'm offering. This is what I do, basically. What's my platform? My platform basically is what? LinkedIn. That's the first
Okay.
platform for me. Then Twitter, then you have other platforms, right? So it's about you understanding. That's why I said you. What are your skill sets? What do you have? What do you know, right? Who are the people you can give this to, right? If I'm, let's say my business is, maybe it's a fashion business, right? I'm into fashion, clothes, all of that. I'm not going to be on LinkedIn. No offense. I'm going to have a social media platform on LinkedIn, but I'm not going to be very serious on LinkedIn. I'm going to arrange it professionally, but that's not where I'm going to be active, because that's not where my clients are. Basically, I'm into fashion, right? So people need to see fashion. People need to see my clothing. People need to see my fashion line. People need to see my models, right? So where am I going to move to? I'm going to be on Instagram. I'm not going to
Yes,
joke
sir.
with Instagram. I'm not going to joke with Twitter,
No.
right? So once you know yourself as a person, then you know where to
Yeah.
what? Build your personal brand. Another part of the you factor is knowing that this is the level of my skill set, basically, right? If I'm a professional, I'm a pro in quote, basically. I'm different from an amateur. I'm different from someone that just learned like a skill set in 2 months. Like still
Yeah.
there. The person is just starting out, yeah. So I'm different from a beginner, right? So since I
Yeah.
know this is my level, I know that these are the clients I can offer services to, right?
Yes.
I'm not going to offer my service to someone like way up the ladder. Why? Because I'm just starting. I don't even have clientele. I don't have a client base. I don't have anything. So once you know yourself, then you can tell the level of your skill set. Then you can say, what, this is the platform I'm going to go on and build it, right? Then when you're not talking about building, you now have to set up portfolios for yourself, because you're not just building. I tell people, don't build a personal brand without knowing why you're building a personal brand, because that's where a lot of people miss it, right? You don't build something with no purpose, with no reason, right? You got to know why you're building it. So am I building it to get clients? Am I building it to get followers? Am I building it to become an online influencer? What exactly am I building for? Because if you know why you're building something, you know how to what? Go about the building, right? An architect doesn't just design a house like that, right? Doesn't start sketching.
Yeah.
I have to know why I'm sketching it. What kind of house is it? What's the apartment? What's the finishing line going to be? What's the bottom line going to be? What's the down floor? How are we going to set? Like all these structures, you have to set it in place. You don't just go like
Yeah.
stuff. So you need to actually understand that. Then when it comes
Yeah.
to portfolio building, If you're a designer, right, that's a virtual creative, virtual, like you're using virtuals and stuff, you have to understand the importance of portfolio, because we that recruiters that are hiring you, we're after what we want to see what you have done.
You
So you
want to
have to
say
build
it,
a
yeah.
portfolio for yourself. Yeah, that's where you now have hands, right? I also tell people that you can actually make use of Canva. A lot of people, I don't know why they neglect that part, right? Just use Canva and
No.
just set
Oh,
up.
I love Canva. I feel like they should employ me.
They need to
They
actually. You're
should.
very good. So
I
once you arrange
absolutely love it.
stuff, everybody does. Once you just arrange
Yeah.
it, like mini, just arrange it and stuff, then you have it. Your stuff is live, your portfolio is live. Arrange it, right? You need to have, if you're still in the beginner stage where you don't have any client at all, you haven't gotten any project or stuff, you can actually work on getting what I call demo projects. Demo projects, you can actually get an idea of that on Upwork. Just open Upwork, an Upwork account. You can see what people are requesting for Fiverr. You can see the kind of designs people, and just build out a portfolio, dummy portfolio out of it. That's it. For a writer and creative, start writing, publish your work, get your work published. You can become there are real, there are free blogs out there. Medium is a good
Yeah.
one, Substack is a good one. There are many places you can start from. So I feel that most times people are not really confused about where to start, right? Their problem is the fact that they are confused. They are, will I say, they are bamboozled by a
Yeah,
lot
no,
of
do you know that,
information.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, because actually, I read something somewhere where someone said, "You don't know what you don't know," and I think that is such an important point. Is that when you talk about confused and overwhelmed with all the information, is that I don't even know where to start, because I don't know what I don't know. I don't know that I'm supposed to have this. I don't know that I'm supposed to have that. I don't know, is there a timeline to this thing? I don't know, okay, if you start here, what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? As opposed to just doing a whole bunch of things. And you kind of spoke about intention earlier, which I think is important, in just when you want to start this online brand, what is the intention behind this? Is it because you want to be an influencer? Because a lot of people do fall into that trap. I'm happy you brought it up, where it's like, oh, I see everyone doing things this particular way. And even though that doesn't fit me, a lot of people, if you ask them, they don't want to be influencers. So why are you posting like an influencer? Why are you copying, not copying in the traditional sense, but why are you following the advice of someone that is leaning towards that influencer strategy? Right. So I think that is such a brilliant point to make. And you kind of spoke about, even at the beginning, knowing where to start from. And I think that platform, being able to pick a platform and just knowing what is the right platform for me, right? Do you think there are instances where someone may not? I feel like with something like fashion, it's very clear to say start on Instagram, or with the kind of work that you do, it's very clear to say start on LinkedIn. But do you feel like there are instances where someone may not be too certain about, okay, which platform is the best for me?
Yeah, there are definitely cases like that, because like right now, if you're hiring candidates or you're hiring clients, basically the first thing we recruiters look out for is your LinkedIn. You're looking for it on your resume because you want to know what's happening. That's the first social media platform we go to before trying to find out other platforms and stuff. So sometimes it can get overwhelming, because one of the platforms like people like you need to get yourself active on is LinkedIn, like people claim and stuff like that. So like I said, there's always this confusion, there's always this need, like where's everybody, what's happening, what's this, what's that. But like I said earlier, yeah, fix up your LinkedIn. Like it's important you fix up your LinkedIn, like arrange it, let it be there. But that doesn't mean you should build your personal brand there. That's one thing. If I'm setting up a social media, like I set up my social media, it's set up, right? My Instagram is set up, my Twitter is set up, but I'm not active there. So am I building a personal brand there? No. What I'm what? My account is there. Do you understand? So there are two
Yeah,
different things. Setting up an
absolutely.
account and being active, that's building your personal brand. It's about you being active on that platform, right? So being
Yeah.
active on that platform, which is now you building your personal brand, it's not what is determined by what your skill set as a person. So I like to be very, very honest. And which is the fact that if you're selling shoes and you're on LinkedIn, you would never make any sale. No offense. If I had someone, I had a mentee who was She just came to me. She's like, she's been selling shoes, all of that. She has been on LinkedIn and she has not sold any shoes and stuff. And I'm like looking at her, I'm like, sorry, you sell shoes? I didn't know that. Like I was shocked. I was like, yeah. She said, look at my profile. I'm looking at it, I'm scrolling down, up and down, and I'm seeing shoes, and I'm like, what's happening here? Because no one is. No offense, no one is.
Yeah.
What we are
Yeah.
going to comment there. Good shoes, great shoes, beautiful shoes. This design is
Well
lovely. This
done.
is
Great
we're not gonna buy.
achievement.
We're not gonna buy. Why? Because that's not it. It's LinkedIn is a social media platform for professionals. That's the truth. That's the idea. So it's business, lead generation. If you're not generating leads with your social media account, I don't know why you there, why you active there. So I feel like you don't need to be under pressure. And this is a part where, and I'll give a personal advice to people. I just need to shoot it out there that if anything, you find yourself under pressure, like there's this pressure, what you do is leave those set of people, leave that place. That's the truth. Like if you have that consistent pressure, because you won't be able to see straight, you won't be able to think clearly, you'll just be there. Why? Because you're under pressure. So
Pressure.
that's
Yeah.
something we need to deal with as a creative, because there's always this pressure to perform. There's always this pressure, like you're always hitting, what am I doing? What have I achieved? What have I gained? Like, what's this? What's this? There's always this pressure. So you need to know how to just level it down, play it a bit before you start
Oh my
sticking up and
God.
all of that.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much that I wanted. That is absolutely brilliant. And I think that is so much, like so many golden nuggets in there. And for me, I think one of the most important things that I have picked up is intentionality. And this is something as a digital marketing strategist that I always like to think of, and I always like to say, we shouldn't just be doing things for the sake of doing them. It's like, okay, I do this because, okay, that's what I think I should be doing. It's like, why, if you're posting a certain kind of way, if you focus on a platform, whatever it is that you're doing for the sake of building an online brand, is there a reason behind it? Do you even know the reason behind it? Or is it just because, oh, that's what everybody does when they start a business? You just have to, okay, we create all these random social media accounts. Or is there any intentionality behind it? And I absolutely love that you then touched on, the people around you and that pressure that people can put on you to whether do the wrong thing or feel like you are doing the wrong thing, or just feel like, oh, nothing is working. And you said just cut them out, just like block them.
Yeah,
And
for the sake of your
that,
mental health.
honestly, and that leads us then into my next question, which is all about that network. Because I like to think about, I like to say my people, right? How do you then decide, how do I attract those people? Now I have picked a platform, I'm posting every day. Do you think it's just a natural progression of, oh, I just continue to post and my people will find me? Or how would you advise someone to say, this is how to find your people on this platform that you have chosen for your brands to build your personal brand?
All right, like we have gotten to the first part, which is the fact that you know yourself right now. Yeah. Now let's divide
Yeah.
the parts basically, right? You know yourself, right? You know the platform basically. Now this is you've agreed on the platform. The next thing is to identify what exactly are you selling, right? What you're selling now determines the people, like I said earlier. So my business, using myself for example, is a recruitment business career. So what kind of people am I selling these services to? I'm selling this to job seekers. I'm selling this to what? B2B partners, like companies, right? So I'm looking at
Yeah.
companies, I'm looking at what? Businesses, right? So what am I doing? What am I going to do? Right. I've identified myself. I've identified my target audience. The next thing is to what? Start creating content. So I've identified that my target audience are what? Job seekers and companies. Right. So what
Yeah.
do? I start creating content for job seekers. What do job seekers need? Right. They need jobs. They need access to jobs. They need to know how to build their portfolio. Right. What do companies need? They need to find the right candidate. So I'm talking about the fact that I hire, I recruit, I train people. So they're not just getting like just people, anyhow people. They are people that have been trained to a certain level and
Yeah.
degree. Do you understand? And they are watched and all of that. So I start to create content, right? I don't just create content. I tell people don't just marketing. That's another part you need to know as a person, as an individual. Marketing is not just what marketing. right? You don't just market with one thing, basically. Marketing, it's more about plugging 2 or 3 things together at the same time. That's how marketing works. That's effective marketing. For every content you're creating and stuff like that, the whole idea is to sell. I know it's a law, but let me explain.
100%.
You're selling yourself. So once you start creating content, what you're doing is you're creating a ripple effect. That's what you're doing, ripple effect. So you're creating like there's this buzz you're creating. So you might be getting 2 likes initially, you might be getting 4 likes, but you're creating a sensation, right? Both the platform, on the platform, both the people. So you're drawing attention to yourself, right? So you have
Yeah.
worked that first part, which is what? Attention. You're becoming a magnet, so you're attracting people. The next thing you need to now plug in, which is now the second dimension of it, is to what? Sit down and what? Identify those people. You have identified them. Now find them by their names, by their companies. Like go a step further. This is the
They
part most
shall
people
be
don't
known
want to
by
do,
their names.
my dear.
No.
Find their names. Let me now talk like a Nigerian that I am. Find their names like this. Find their names. Find them.
Mhm. Stalk them.
Write it
Track them
down.
down.
Write it down. This is where they are. This is start interacting with their own content, right? Start
Okay.
interacting with their own content. Create comments, like comments. Create connection between you and them. Go to the
Yeah.
DM. I saw this your post today. So nice. You talked about this. I'm learning about this. Build relationship with them, right? With time, what happens is that they start coming to your what? They start coming to your own post. They start coming to you too. With time, you find them what doing what? They're commenting, they're engaging with you. That's how you build authority in something. Before you know what's happening to you. If they need anything, they are what? Find that girl for me.
They're thinking
Find her.
about you.
Find
They're
him.
thinking
Find him.
about you.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you have created what? A ripple effect. So it's something I tell people, don't just do one form of sales, like do expand your net. Don't just create content and just dump, because a lot of people create content, they just dump. You don't know that you're dumping for yourself. You have to plug in the next one, like I just said earlier, which is what? You have to reach out to people,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
inbound is
Yeah.
good, outbound is good. So you have to combine all of them. That's how you make it work. And you have to bring out time to make this thing work. Because what you want to do as a
Yeah.
creative is to sell yourself and to give yourself a higher advantage in the job market. Because people don't understand what job is, what a job is. I tell people a job is a gig, a job is anything actually that you do for money. So whether you're doing a gig, you're a freelancer, you're a hybrid, whatever you want, name it, you have what? You have a job. The only thing is that the form or the style which you're executing that job is different. It can be a remote
It's
style, it
different.
can be a what, 9 to 5, all of that. Then you now have that split and all of that.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely love that you talked about just the reciprocity of it all, because I think that is one honest truth that we don't tell ourselves enough. You know, when a lot of people kind of come and they talk to you and they say, oh, I'm posting online, I'm doing all these different things, I'm not seeing any growth. A lot of times when you say that, ask them, okay, besides posting, what else are you doing? Are you engaging with people's content? Are you talking to them? Because just like you've rightly said, a huge part of marketing is actually talking to people. They are not doing that. It's a one-way street. So many people, like you said, it's a dumping ground. It's like post and ghost and post and ghost. And you're wondering why nobody's coming to you. I think it's funny because I don't know why so many times we have this, I don't know if it's a mindset or we just have some kind of strange pride about reaching out to other people. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's fear. I don't know, depending on the individual. But we just have this thing about reaching out to other people. It's like, no, they should, I want them to come to me, but I don't want to go to them. I don't want to comment on their posts. I don't want to reach out to them in the DMs, but I want them to come to me. Isn't that a strange thing to imagine, that we don't want to reciprocate, but we want them, to come to us? I don't know. Is that a conversation you think you have a lot? Like, why do you think we have
It's
that
it's it's
tendency?
it's a problem. It's a headache. Let me put it that way, right? It's a problem a lot of people have. And one of the things I tell people, I like to be very, very honest. One of my favorite word is honest. Like, I need you to be honest with me. I'm always saying honest because the truth is, when you are at a point, you have to tell yourself, this is where I am. Like, you have to be
This
real
is
with
truth.
yourself. You have to be
You have
honest
to be
with
truth.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
I need
Yeah,
this.
that's true.
So set a time frame for it. This is what I need. Let's say I need a job 30 days, right? 30 days, I need a job. So what am I going to do in that 30 days? There's no way I'm just going to be applying to just jobs. Like every job I say, I'll just apply. No. If I'm doing that for that 30 days, I'll be there. I'll still be looking for a job, especially for industries that are very, very very, very loaded with a lot of stuff like that. You won't find
Yeah.
like financial sector. It's very crazy. So the easiest way for you to do that is to what? Build a network. Build a network. I tell people make as much relationships as you possibly can. Especially when you're like in this journey of life. I know adulthood can be very crazy. We can get so tired of a lot of things. Try to make as much friends as you possibly can. Because people are assets. There's something I say, people are gods. People can plug you and connect you to things effortlessly without you even knowing, right? You don't need to know me to know me. Because my friend knows me, my friend can what? Recommend me. Like that girl is good. I'm sure of her because he knows me. So he's gonna shout my name in public, right? So you have to reach out. I know that it's hard for especially introverted people like myself. I used to be like introverted and stuff. So it gets like you're scared. What if they don't reply me? What if they? But one thing that I teach my mentees is reach out the first time, reach out the second time, and reach out the third time. If they don't reply you on the third time, then you can just leave it like that. Do you get? But reach out the first time, try the first time, try the second time, try the third time, right? And if you really want this
That's
person,
good.
find someone that knows the person, right? And you have a goal. Remember, you have your goal. And if your goal is staring at you, you're going to hit that goal. You're going to achieve it. But don't relate with people just because you want to collect something from them. That's also bad, also. But at the same time, you need to learn to build relationships. I think one of the things that has really made life super easy for me is because I have friends. I have people that are connected to people. So if I need stuff, I'm like, hello,
Absolutely.
what's up? I have a lot of influencers, like their numbers and stuff. So I have access to these people. Like people are like, oh my God. I'm like, I just come into an event, I just hug the person, I just greet the person. I'm like, you know them? I'm like, yes, that's my friend.
Yes.
So you need to build relationships. If you want something, people are assets, people are gods, people are
Yeah.
the real currency. You see money is with people, money is people. That's just it.
I absolutely love that. And it's true. When people talk about, your network, is equal to your net worth or something like that, or your network will determine your net worth, 100% true. Because as much as, to an extent, I do still consider myself a little bit introverted. But just like you rightly said, at some point you have to tell yourself the truth. At some point you have to sit down with yourself and be like, come, let's be honest. Can we be honest with ourselves? This thing that you're doing is not working. This thing is not making sense. You are saying you want A and you are doing Z. The math isn't mathing, as Gen Z like to say. It's not working out. So you want to build this thing and you're sitting in your house. It's like, I don't know who is this very funny, person that created a video and was saying all these, ladies that are you're looking for husband, just sitting down at home. Go outside, go and meet people. You want to start a relationship, you are in your house. Why are you in your house? And you're saying you want to do this. It's like, I want this, and what my actions are, it's nowhere to be found. Excuse me.
It's
The
totally
math
off.
isn't mathing. Yeah. So I absolutely love that you talked about that, about telling yourself the truth, because a lot of times we do, right? We need to sit down and be like, okay, how far? This thing that you're doing, where has it gotten you? And let's even say that there is an honest mistake of, okay, I did honestly think that this was the right way to go. A couple of weeks ago when I started this, I did think that if I did it this way, it would work out. But after a while, you need to be able to come back and say, okay, this thing that I thought would work, it's not working. So how do I pivot? How do I change? What do I do next? Rather than just, I like to, again, I think of it as either stubbornness or fear. It's either you just want to be outrightly stubborn and be like, I can't, when people say to me, I can't create content. I do know how to talk to somebody online. I can't do this. Is there in a shop you can't or you don't want to? Because there's a difference between the two of them. So I think that is a very important thing for everyone to be able to just sit down with themselves and be honest as to, what am I doing right now to build that online community? Am I talking to people? And just as you have said, go and know their names. I think that's the best advice that I have even heard, because that is personalization. When you're able to identify someone and call them by their name, that's a special kind of bond. And so many people can do that. You know, you don't need to be an influencer or whatever. Even with your own small community, do you even know who's there? But you want them to come and comment on your own stuff, but you're not even willing to put in that effort and go out and connect with, you know, what they're doing. And then that kind of brings me into my next question, because I'm thinking about this and thinking we've spoken a lot about, you know, introverted, extroverted. What, first of all, before I even get into the question, do you think about authenticity when it comes to building an online brand? I've heard someone once say that authenticity is overrated. I personally, you know, I don't think so. But, you know, I would love to know what you think when it comes to authenticity in building a personal brand, and just how much of yourself should come into the picture. What do you think? Do you, regarding authenticity generally, when it comes to building a personal brand online?
Being authentic is about you being honest. That's it. Being honest with yourself. That's one thing. Another thing also is knowing that the internet has actually leveled the playing ground for everyone. You can have access to the CEO of Google, you can have access to whoever you want to name it, right? And also, that same access can be abused. That's one thing I like to tell people. There's always the English side to things. English, which is the part where I'm speaking a lot of English, and people are saying be very authentic, just open your mouth, talk
Yeah.
about how you feel. There's a level and there's a limit to that. Yes, there is. The reason is, if let's say, for example, this is me. Some people that are very, they say I'm authentic and stuff. Maybe you're going through a breakup and stuff, and you do like a video. You're crying and all of that. You just post it on the internet. The thing is, after you have healed from that breakup, yes, you get likes, you get views, people would console you, all of that. What happens to you is that people would never forget. Right. Why will people never forget? Because there are people literally behind the scene. There are people behind the phone. There are people using phones, right? So people don't forget. So you may have forgotten. You might have moved on, like moved past the breaking point, past the breakup and stuff like that. But we haven't forgotten. And we can always dig it out. Always. Because the internet is the internet. You can't go out there and
It
delete it.
doesn't
Even if you
forget.
want to have
It doesn't
back
forget.
end, some people have saved it. So
Yep.
we need to know that there's a level of authenticity that is allowed. You have to be authentic to a certain degree and level, especially if you're someone that knows where you're going. Even if you don't know where you're going, you have to be very, very careful. That's me being honest, because right now in your 20s, you want to have fun, you want to be cruise. In your 30s, you're finding yourself being more mature, right? You're finding yourself evolving. At 40s, you're more business oriented, you're focused on money. Where's the money? Like your mindset is different. So you're evolving, but we don't know that. It doesn't concern us. It's none of our business. So you have to literally be careful and watch yourself, right? So I tell people that the truth is there is a level to that. Don't be too vulnerable that you don't have an option but to quit social media for the rest of your life. So be careful. So ask yourself before you post anything, is this going to destroy my future in the long run? I remember someone said something that he wanted to go and apply to a bank. Yes, he was applying to a bank and stuff like that. Then they checked something, they now brought it and showed it to him. What he put there, what he tweeted is the worst bank in the world or something. And he came for the interview in that same bank. So he has lost the job.
You messed
So
up.
we as recruiters, we go through a lot of things. We do a lot of vetting and checking because we don't want you to destroy our company image and stuff like that. There's a lot. So your vulnerability, please, is this going to, before you post anything online, is this going to destroy my future later on? That's the question. So I know you might be doing it for the likes, the views, you want engagement, you want people to come and see you, meet you, all of that, get to know you, the buzz. There's always this sweet buzz. But you have to remember something, that after that first buzz, that second buzz, we're moving to the next buzzing thing. The word moves, like we have moved.
Yeah,
So you have to be very, very
absolutely.
what? Careful. Be careful. Be
Yeah.
careful. The internet is a leveler. At the same time, it's a destroyer. It makes men and it destroys men. So you have to be careful to make that balance and set that balance for yourself.
I absolutely love that. And I think that is very important, both, even for when I think about independent creatives and just a photographer, for example, that is trying to build some kind of connection with their audience. And they're saying, oh, yeah, I have to be authentic. Like you rightly said, there is a level to this because there are certain things by the time you begin to overshare, you begin to share too much of what, shouldn't be going on a business or a professional page, for example. You may have issues sometimes, not even with, I know you spoke about, in the future with people coming to see it, sometimes even with your current audience, what you think you're trying to, oh, this is going to help me be more relatable, this is going to help me build a relationship, you would be surprised that it turns the opposite way. So just like you rightly said, yeah, it's not a bad thing to be authentic, and I think it's even necessary to be authentic, but not to an extent that it could destroy all the hard work that has gone into what you've done. Right. So we are now coming to the end of this very soon, but whatever. I have one question that I absolutely love because I tell people a lot of times, I said I'm a businesswoman and people don't know that I love money. It should not be a controversial statement, but sadly it is. Oh no, absolutely. I don't joke with money. I'm sorry. I know. It's just that thing where you have to be honest. Again, it comes to the honesty part of it, right? I know the reason why I'm going into business. If I want to start an NGO, I'm going to start an NGO. But if it's a business, let's talk business and let's talk money. Why are we here? What are we doing? Now, my next question really is about creatives and is about money. What are some of from your experience, what are some monetization strategies, or just in general, how should we, let me reword that or rephrase that, how should we start to think about monetization? How should we start to think about building income on the journey of building up our personal brands? At what stage maybe, or where does that conversation come in? Should we think about it? How should we go about it?
I'm going to give more like a balanced perspective. I'm going to come from the balanced perspective because a lot of people have abused a lot of things. Like you just started learning a skill 2 months or 1 month in, you're already teaching the skill set. And I'm like, what are you doing here? You have not
They're
even
a
made money
coach.
from this.
They're
Why are you
coaches
opening your
now.
mouth to call yourself coach? Like, I personally don't understand it. What even hurts me the most is someone that just learned phone graphics. That's phone graphics, like graphics design with smartphone. And you're coming out there and teaching people. And you haven't even perfected it. Like, there are still issues to it. There are still levels and layers that you still have to pass through. You're just into the skill. Like, we can see the fonts are different, like they're scattered everywhere. You can see, and I'm like, what is happening here? So that comes back to where I was talking about knowing the level you are, your skill set, knowing the level. Like,
Yes.
this is my level, this is where I am, which level am I in? I just learned this skill set. I haven't even gotten a single client from this skill set. I'm already teaching people for 2,000 naira. If you're Nigerian, 2,000 naira. If you're outside, like a foreigner, white, like you're outside, you're teaching for $5, you're teaching for $10. And I'm like, what is happening here? Like, you haven't learned Jack. You don't know Jack. So what are you teaching?
Nope.
So it's time for people to understand that if you start making money from this skill set, right, then you can what? You can start teaching. That's it. And it's not everybody that can teach. So just tell yourself the truth. I cannot teach. I can teach. I can just know yourself. That's the thing I always talk about. You as a person. Everything is about you. My journey is different. My personality is different. Because I understand myself, there's some foods I can't eat. There's some places I can't go. Not because I can't go there, but because I understand myself. If I go there, I might just cold will just maybe finish me or heat will just finish. Like, know thyself. Know thyself. That's the commandment, right? So when you know yourself, this is the level I'm in, then you can now say, this is how I want to plug in and play, right? You can actually say there are different ways to make money, offering services and what products. When you talk about products, that's when you want to sell, what's it called? You want to sell digital products, buy your maybe your planner, your journal. If you're a graphics person, you want to design maybe journals, stuff like templates, Canva templates, design templates that people
Yeah.
can use and stuff. Then when you now talk about services, you now want to talk about coaching. Like me personally, I know I can teach very, very well. Like I enjoy teaching. Like I can teach, I'll just run out like through the day. I like, Mother, come and eat. I'm like, no, I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying services. Like you have coaching, you have
Oh,
you offering your graphics design that you have learned as a service and stuff. So when you're a beginner, the first thing you want to do is to operate at the service level. The service level basically is you what? Selling your skill set for what? For money. And there are
for
levels
money.
to this service selling in the sense that this is how much. Okay, I'm still a beginner, so I can collect $10, I can collect $20. This is it, right? I don't mind because the more I do, the more I learn, right? Then that's different services, right? Then in the coaching, I know I'm going to teach, so I charge this per dollar, I charge that per hour, per this, per this, per this. So that like this stuff. So you knowing where you are would help you a lot. But one, like I'd always say, like once you start building your personal brand, just know that you're going to attract a lot of like attention, a lot of people to yourself. So you can start mixing up. Like me, I have a mix of many things together. Why? Because I've built my personal brand to a level. A lot of
That
people know
accent.
me. A lot of
Yeah.
people have awareness. So I'm a different level. But you now, you have to know the level you are, then build to that level. But I think one of the easiest way to make money, I know people may say, "What is she saying? What's she saying? What's all of that?" Is when you are at the amateur level, yeah, you're still there. You're not yet professional. Amateur level is when you're now combining both the services and the products together. That's when you make like a ton of money because if you're not offering the services, you're offering the what product. And
The
if the
products.
services you're too tired, I can't coach, like depending on my schedule, I have like crazy. I just tell you, go and buy that book. When you're done buying the book, ask me question. I'll just help you, I'll answer you and stuff like that. So that's it, chicken. I'm done, right? But you
I
need to know the
absolutely love
level
that. Yeah.
you are in.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that I like that you kind of brought us back to that conversation of kind of knowing where you are, and that then determines how you show up and how you decide to monetize yourself. Because, yes, I kind of always see a lot of people just want to do what everybody else is doing. And, it's like, what is everyone? Oh, everybody is coaching these days. Oh, everybody is selling ebooks. Okay, so that means I can just write up whatever with my 1 year of experience and sell that, and it's a New York best time seller. Isn't that wonderful? I wish I wish it were that easy, but sadly, well, not so sadly, it's not, because that is why we do now have just like this rampart. There is a big problem in the industry where everyone wants to be a coach. I don't know if it's because we've sold this dream of coaching to people where someone does something literally for 6 months, 1 year, and now they're a coach. Or like you've said, they do it for the smallest amount of time. Where is your experience? Where is your expertise on this? But now they want to be able to sell it to other people. I am a very big advocate for offering services, and I absolutely love that. And I think, a lot of people should not look down on the service industry, because maybe that's why coaching is so glamorous. I don't know. Maybe that's why it's so glamorous, because it's like, oh, I am on a different pedestal, as opposed to when I'm offering my services for someone. Because when you offer services, it's kind of like you're working for that person. If you're a graphic designer, for example, you are at, which is not a bad thing, to be honest. I see it as, a service. To serve someone is an absolutely honorable thing. It's an amazing thing to do. But so many people don't see it that way. They see it like, oh, if you're serving someone, if you're offering services, it's like you're at the lower pedestal, as opposed to if you're coaching, it's like I've upgraded myself now. Now I have clients, now I have students that I'm teaching, even though I literally have less than 1 year experience. It's like, what are you teaching them? What is going on here? We don't
It's
know, but
crazy.
yeah, I think it is crazy. But I love that you made that point about just being able to grow with it. And yeah, with time you actually will get to the point where you can now offer your services, and to the sweetest spot, which is what you've described as being able to offer both the products and the services. If I cannot do the service myself, just go and buy that product, and to tell you what you need to do. And if you need any further information, you can now come back to me. and we work together and we make magic happen. So I think that's a great point. Okay, so we're getting to closer to our last question, but just before I get to the last question, I did want to just kind of talk a little bit about your experience. In your experience, what do you think is the most common challenge that you've seen creatives face when it comes to building a strong online presence or even a successful online presence? What are some of the challenges that you have faced, maybe yourself, and how do you overcome them? Or if it's with other creatives, what do you think they could have done to overcome that challenge?
The challenge is being a Nigerian currently. I'm in Nigeria right now. Yeah, it's very challenging actually. But I've passed that stage anyway. But the first problem I really like encountered, even though I was very very good, it's the fact that I'm a Nigerian. That's the fact. So there's already this closure. I'll just say closure kind of thingy that you have to do extra. You have to work harder, right? Because no offense, but people are like, can she really do the job? She's a Nigerian, right? What, like, there's a lot of questions, and a lot of people have had bad experiences with the African people, like the African talents, right? So I had to breach that gap. So how I breached that gap first and foremost was to work on my mindset, basically, because because of the bad experience, like I lost a job offer, like very cool, like it was cool. It was one of the, like I really worked hard for it, the interview. Like I passed the second stage and all of that. And hearing the way I sound, I don't sound like a Nigerian or even look like one actually to a very large degree. Then all of a sudden, the interview I was asked, "What country are you from?" And I said Nigeria, and the facial expression, the everything, and
Oh
believe
my
me,
God.
that was just, it would really hurt me a lot. So to move beyond that, it took me a lot of grit, let me call it, a lot of personal. I
Yeah.
went through a lot of personal pain and um, God, why did you make me a Nigerian? I had started asking a lot of questions actually, but like I said, what made me move beyond that is I started working on my mindset. Yes, that company rejected me. Yes, that recruiter didn't give me an opportunity, even if I was good because I was Nigerian and I'm still a Nigerian, but someone else will. And a lot of people still did. And a
100%.
lot of people are still
Yep.
getting opportunities now and up till now. Funny enough, if they hear that I'm Nigerian, they're like, wow, wow. Like I've
Yeah,
met people
it's
that love the fact
trendy.
I'm Nigerian. They love the
It's
fact that I'm
trendy
Nigerian.
now,
Oh my
isn't
God,
it?
people
Not
don't
just,
even
yeah.
understand.
Afri-
People are just
we're,
want to
we're
know.
doing
So
amazing things. Yeah.
So the fact now that I've changed my mindset, so I'm attracting the opportunities by myself effortlessly. So the fact I'm in Nigeria now is attracting opportunities to me right now. Then the next one is the issue of light. It's actually a very very sad one. Light is a problem.
Yeah.
So one of the ways I actually had to fix that was I started looking to earn more. So to earn more, I can get generator, something to power up. I can get my fuel setting up. Then now I'm at that stage where there's an inverter, right? So use an inverter, there's light, or I can walk into a workspace. I find workspaces, like I had to look for workspaces so I could work, pay them, and actually have that comfort to work with light, work with this. Then network issue also. That's where it's a problem. Right now we have, like, it's worldwide in Nigeria throughout right now. There's a lot of network issues, right? Sorry, excuse me. So for that, I had to, right now, like I'm in a work, like you can go to a workstation, right, and actually make use of the Wi-Fi. That's where you
The
now pay.
resources there. Yeah.
Yes. So for you to earn that kind of money to be able to afford that kind of thing, you have to work to a certain level. That's another thing I need to tell
Yep.
people, right? So at every stage, there are always challenges. But why? What makes you a human being? What makes you different from others? What makes you a goal-getter? What makes you an achiever is the fact that you're able to accept that challenge, absorb it and work. Look towards the what solution and work towards getting the solution for yourself at every what point in time. So me, I don't see problems as problems. I see them what solutions. So you say this is my problem. I'm like, okay, thank you very much. Now, how do I fix it? Solution. So
How do I
focus
stop
more
it?
on the solution. Stop hampering. Stop beating yourself about the problem. I'm a Nigerian, so it's a problem. I'm a Nigerian, who will employ me? How will I get a remote job? How will I do this? How will I? The fact that you have that mindset already, you won't get those
It's a problem.
opportunities. So
It's a
that's why I
limitation.
take out
Yeah.
time, even in my coaching, my mentoring, all my products, everything, before I even get it. One of the things that I spend time to talk to you about is what? Your mindset. Because if you can correct that mindset, you can move faster than the speed of light. That's just it.
Absolutely. And I love that you talked about, new, I kind of think of it as new level, new devil, because, the higher you go or, whatever level that you're moving to, there's going to be a challenge. I think there is this common misconception that, oh, when I blow, quote unquote, when I get to that extent where I won't have any problem again, I'm challenge free. There's no, where is the problem? It's like there's always going to be something. So like you rightly said, if you're fixing the mindset, that feels to me like you're setting a good foundation for whatever level you're moving to. You move to the next level, okay, now there's another problem here, we'll fix that one. You move to the next level, okay, there's another challenge here, let's look for the opportunity, let's think about how we can solve that. So that is a really good point to make, and I think everybody needs, that's not something that we talk about a lot, is it? It's like mindset is always, oh, what's the strategy, oh, what are we doing here? What is your mindset? I think that's a very important one that not a lot of people talk about. So I'm very happy to hear that that's something that you kind of prioritize with your own coaches, with your mentees, with your network, with everyone to say before you're thinking about. Don't, first of all, don't even. It's not like you avoid it. It's not like you're not going to say this is the reality. The truth of the matter is that I live in Nigeria. There's no electricity. I have this and this and this, but and then what? It's like, and then what's the next? What's okay? So are we just going to stop there? Are we just going to be like, yeah, Niger, that's the end of the story? And that's how we finish it off. Okay, thank you so much for all of. I feel like I've learned so much today, and there's so much that I want to touch on. So we definitely have to bring you back at some point. This has been such an amazing session and learning opportunity for
Thank you.
myself as well. So we're just going to touch on the very last question, which isn't really a question, but just having you here right now, what would you say is whether your number one or your top kind of advice or recommendation, when it comes to building an online presence and building that personal brand? What would you say to someone out there that is either literally starting from scratch, or maybe they started and it didn't work out and they're just thinking to themselves, okay, what next? What would you say is your top recommendation or advice for them?
I'm gonna sound funny a bit. Let me just put it that way.
It's allowed. We're
The
all funny people.
okay, thank you. I'm glad that's allowed. What I mean by what I said is, you have to understand yourself. That's the most important thing. Can take. You have to understand yourself. If you have a clear picture of yourself, you have a clear understanding of yourself, then you can make the life you want for yourself. Right. That includes the kind of people that you start attracting to yourself. That includes the kind of opportunities you start getting. You have to have an understanding of yourself. Right. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be. These are the issues that I have. These are the people I want to connect with. Do you get? Let me use marriage and stuff, because definitely I'm going to be, a lot of ladies understand this. They can easily relate with it. If you want a high value man, you have to become a high value what? Woman. Yes, definitely.
Woman.
That's what you have to be. If you want your man to be the CEO, if you want him to be the entrepreneur, like have how many like jets, all of that, private jet, all of that, you have to become a high value woman. There has to be, you have to talk differently, you have to sound differently, you have to think differently, you have to dress differently. So if you know yourself, you know where you want to be, you know the level you want to create for yourself, you know where you see yourself with, you know who you are sitting that you want to sit down with, you know the kind of people you want to sell to. You now have to become that person, so you can attract those opportunities to yourself. I effortlessly attract CEOs, entrepreneurs. Like most of my friends are founders, business people. Why? Because I'm in business. I'm working. I'm talking about business. I'm in that state. If you're talking to me, you're talking to me. You already understand, like, wow, this girl is intelligent. I like the way she thinks. I'm reading. I'm working on myself 247 because I know where I want to be. I have a picture of myself. I'm seeing myself sitting with kings. Like, I'm not sitting myself with men, like small. Like, my flight is being paid for me to go and speak in United States. Like, I'm seeing myself flying, like a lot of stuff. So I'm not going to sit down and be sleeping at night and doing all. No, I'm on a different level. So once you understand
Love it.
yourself, you plan yourself, you create a life for yourself. That's just it.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much for being here, for all of your wisdom and nuggets, and just sharing your experience, because these are things that I know for a fact that so many people don't know. And like I said, they don't even know that they don't know it. And what you don't know that you don't know, you're just going to be operating within whatever you think is right. And you can do that for months, you can do that for years. You're not getting anywhere and you're wondering, what the hell am I doing wrong? What's going on? So I'm going to open up the stage for you for a couple of minutes, or, just please tell us what is something exciting you're working on right now that you need the whole world to hear. If we can literally just give you a microphone, a speaker for you to shout out into the audience and just tell us something that, I don't know, maybe we can look forward to from you, or that you're already working on right now and we absolutely have to check out.
All right. I'm working on, like, there are many projects I'm working on. I'm always working, trying to find out how to fix a lot of stuff. But one major project I'm working on right now is more like 30 days job challenge, which, like, I'm still working on. I'm going to let the general public know about it. But you can actually reach out to me on LinkedIn. Yes, real LinkedIn. Send me a message then. I get you hooked up with it. What's about
and we're
stuff.
going to
So
put
basically,
we're going to put in her LinkedIn link here so that you can go and check that out.
thank you
So
so much. So it's more about helping you to get a job in 30 days. So we'll take you on a journey, what job you need to apply for, fix your resume, fix your cover letter, prepare you for interviews. Do you get recommend you to jobs, prepare you for that job. So that process, building your personal brand, all of that, we're taking you from the top to the bottom, basically. And right now, I want
yeah.
to work with a lot of companies that are looking to hire talent. So any company that wants to hire like quality talents, right? I don't care where you want the talent to be from, United States, UK, and all of that. Reach out. We're going to help you get the best candidates, because one of the things you want to do at Script Jobs is connect people to opportunities. So whether you're looking to hire the best set of candidates, whether you're looking to become the best candidate, we're there for you. We bridge the gap. That's what we're about. So that level, come and meet us. We're here for you, basically. We're here to get the job done.
Come and join the 30-day challenge. And I love how exciting that sounds. I've never heard of it, getting a job as a challenge, like a 30-day challenge. Like, that is such a brilliant way to put it. And the fact that there's so many segments of it, I think that a lot of people don't think of it that way. A lot of people just feel like, oh, if you want a job, just go and apply. But now you're also helping them to see that there are other elements to this that we need to fix. We need to talk about your CV. We need to talk about you and your presentation and the skills you need to have and the resources you need to have before we get to the final stage of you getting that job. You're not just going to jump the bridge and just be like, oh, employ me in the next 3 days. How did you get there? What magic is that? But I absolutely love that. Please go and sign up. We're going to put the link on the screen right now. Go and sign up for the 30-day challenge. And obviously, we're going to keep in touch with you to know when that starts, so that we can also let people know it's open now. Run, don't walk, run and go and sign up. Thank you so much once again, Mrs. Chiamaka. This has been such a fun session. Like, besides the fact that I know it's education, blah, 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 but it's such a fun session. Sitting down and talking to you about these things. Thank you so much. I'm not going to take any more of your time. We've already covered so much. And if you haven't already, please be sure to go and follow her on LinkedIn as well. And be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube and across all of our social media channels. Thank you so much to everyone for listening to this. I really hope that you've been following along. And if you don't have a notes, then please start again. Just go back to the beginning and start, because you can't not have been taking notes. Like, no, we don't do that here. That's what we're learning here, right? But thank you so much, everyone. And I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.